And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Charles Johnson Summer League in this Wednesday matchup between the Vipers and the defending champion, the Beach Bums. As we see a wild pitch go, and Zaid Stark, after the wild pitch, is going to advance himself to second. Sorry, we're starting this a little bit late, folks. Had to get some things set up, but we are now underway here at the top of the first. Now AJ Barrios, the center fielder, number 26, is now at bat. Ulysses Rodriguez, a little bit of a different name on the mound. Shortstop Ulysses Rodriguez is the starting pitcher for this game for the Bombs. So this is really interesting. I talked to Garcia beforehand about this. He said that, hey, he needs some arms, and Ulysses stepped up to the plate, said he can throw a couple strikes, get them where they need to go. So we're seeing the shortstop, Ulysses Rodriguez, now at bat. Excuse me, on the mound. Offering gets. Next offering is fouled off. That'll bring the count to 1-1. So it's a 1-1 count with a runner on first. Excuse me, a runner on second. And here's the pitch. That offering is fouled off as well. So now it's a 1-2 count. This one looks like it's going to stay in bounds. Heads towards right field. Caught. First out on the board for the Vipers. Right fielder with the catch. Next up, Eric Machado, the second baseman, is now at bat for the Vipers. Already one out on the board here in the first. And here's the pitch. Strike. Even 4-4 in terms of a ball and strike count so far for Ulysses Rodriguez. So solid work for the shortstop turned pitcher. And here's the pitch. Outside for a ball. 1-1 count. And here's the pitch. Inside for a ball. We'll read you today's scores for the Charles Johnson Summer League's games. We'll start off where the Cobras took on the Panthers in a thrilling match that ended in a close 9-7 win for the championship runner-ups last year as that ball goes outside, and now it's a 3-1 count for Eric. The Bites managed to take down the Tide in dominating fashion 7-1, and here in South Dade, in the first matchup between the Vipers and the Beach Bums, the Vipers pulled off the upset against the Beach Bums by taking them 10-0. That's another ball. And Eric will go for the walk. So we've had some close matchups, we have some dominating performances today, and we've had some major upsets. Let's see what this second matchup in the doubleheader between the Vipers and the Beach Bums will present to us today. As we see William Cruz, the first baseman, now at bat, and his offering goes for a strike. It's an 0-1 count. And here's the pitch. Takes a shot at it. Heads into foul territory. That will bring the count to 1-1 for William Cruz. And here's the pitch. Inside, and that's a strikeout. And here's the pitch. Outside, but Blue calls it as a strike. Second out on the board for the Vipers and the first strikeout for Ulysses Rodriguez. It's an 0-1 count here for Martin Gomez. It's an 0-2 count for the right fielder for the Vipers. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that's going to put the top of the first to a close. Back-to-back strikeouts for Ulysses Rodriguez. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back for the bottom of the first. And welcome back, folks, here in the bottom of the first, still scoreless. And now we see Tajat Jackson at bat for the Beach Bums to start things off. As he takes a big shot, that one's going to stay in bounds. They couldn't make the catch, and Jackson's going to make the run to second and get the double. Center fielder was unable to make the catch. And here comes the pitcher, Ulysses Rodriguez, now at bat. Roger Garcia is the pitcher starting as Rodriguez takes a shot that heads into foul territory. But Roger Garcia is the starting pitcher for the Vipers. The Vipers looking to continue their momentum after dominating the Beach Bums in the first game by winning 10-0. And here's the pitch, and that ball's going to stay in bounds. The right fielder is going to make the catch. And Rodriguez is going to take the walk back to the dugout. That puts the first out on the board for the Beach Bums. Now we have the center fielder Fox now at bat. Still early on in this game. That offering goes for a ball. It's still early on. We've seen a lot of big plays happen. We've seen some wild pitches, stolen bases. Already we've seen a double. And here's the pitch. This one stays in bounds. 21 is going to make the run over to first, but they make the catch. Second out on the board for the Bums. Next up, we have the first baseman Ward now at bat. That pitch goes for a ball. Jackson's able to advance himself to third as well. So for the first time in this game, we have a runner in scoring position. There's another near wild pitch. That went a little farther. That could have been costly, and we probably would have seen Jackson take the shot to home plate. We know Jackson, speed demon for the Beach Bums. Here's a pitch, and another ball makes it a 3-0 count. And another ball, and War is going to take the walk after 4 straight balls. Runners on both corners now for the Beach Bums with 2 outs on the board. So now we see the third baseman, Andres, now at bat. So in both the first and the second, we've been able to see at least half of the starting lineup for each team. That strike is going to break the ball streak for Roger Garcia. 0-1 count for Andres. Garcia is going to keep War honest at first. War is safe. And here's the pitch. War fouls that one off. Fouls that one off. It's an 0-2 count. Garcia is still searching for his first strikeout of the day. That one is a wild pitch again, and Jackson's going to bring the first run on the board for the Beach Bums as they take an early 1-0 lead. War is able to get himself to second as well. We see a big shot. That's going to be caught, and that's going to put the first inning to a close. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back for the start of the second. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here in the top of the second, where the Beach Bums have a 1-0 lead over the Vipers. Now we see Dylan Vega at bat. He has an 0-2 count after a strike and a foul. And joining me here in the booth is the CEO of the Charles Johnson Summer League and Caribbean Baseball Organization, Mario Sigranello. Mario, how are you doing today?
Great day for baseball out here, and enjoy watching our defending champs playing the new kids on the block who are getting better and better every week.
So, talk a little more about yourself. What got you started in baseball? Where you from, and just what got you started?
Baseball is my first love. I think God invented it so I could have a favorite sport. And I played college ball in Oklahoma Wesleyan as a freshman, and then I finished up in St. Thomas University. And I think I've always had a love for the game, but I paid attention to what the ballparks look like, the game presentation, people. I can never go by a baseball park without stopping and taking a look at it and seeing what's going on. So this has just been just another step for me in the different properties that CBO has.
We see a big shot that goes towards right field. Tried to make the catch, unable to do so, and the Vipers are going to get the single.
I think he lost it in the sun. He's facing right into the sun, which is the sun's setting in the west, and he's facing west. So I think that's what happened there.
So talk a little more about your baseball history. When did you get started in the industry, and what careers have you had in baseball?
Well, it goes back to 1997 when I ran the very first Homestead Challenge college baseball event at the Homestead Sports Complex. That was a major league facility made for the Cleveland Indians, but unfortunately, Hurricane Andrew was ground zero in Homestead, and the Indians never showed up. But it was fortunate for me that they didn't come, because I was able to bring college baseball, and we had 80 to 100 teams a year for 8 years in a row that came down here. Our economic impact was about half of what Major League Baseball spring training would have been, because bringing 25 teams a week at 100 people a team brought a lot of money to the economy down here. So for me to be able to come back to this beautiful ballpark 19 years later after I left and do college baseball.
And we see the shortstop Ishmael get the strikeout. That's the third for Ulysses Rodriguez, and that puts the first out on the board for the Vipers.
And a lot of people don't realize how many people came through, because college baseball is not a big spectator sport down in South Florida unless you go for the Hurricanes or the College World Series. What the SEC is doing now, and the ACC and some of the other conferences, is tremendous, but it wasn't that way. It wasn't that way 25 years ago. But, the Homestead Challenge had players like Carlos Pena, Nick Swisher, Pat Burrell, Brian Roberts, all come through and play in the Homestead Challenge. In fact, from 1998 to 2004, 11% of every player drafted from college had played in Homestead.
So, speak of down here in South Florida, as we see if they can make the double play, and they can't.
It was a perfect throw, nobody covered.
So that's another strikeout on the board for Ulysses Rodriguez, who's already had 4 today.
That's where they missed their shortstop, because he's on the hill today, who's a closer. The second shortstop didn't know who was covering.
Ulysses Rodriguez, he's a monster when it comes to being a shortstop. But let's go back to, so you used to work for the Marlins. So talk a little more about, what that was like working for, South Florida's premier baseball team.
It was a great ride. I was there 2004 to 2019. I took early retirement because I was eligible for it in order to develop more of the projects that CBO has.
Oh, we see a shot here, heads towards the left. Now there's going to be runners on both corners.
Third baseman knocked it down, which might have saved a run, but puts runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Bruce is able to get the single, and the Vipers are in scoring position to tie the game up.
Yep, my run with the Marlins was great. I enjoyed it, but it's pretty intense. When you're working for a team, there's 162 games, and as much as I love baseball, if they were on the West Coast, that meant I wasn't getting to bed till 1, 2 o'clock at night, and you got to be there the next day. We didn't have to be at every game. But when you work for a major league team, you have to actually leave your job in order not to beat a game. And for me, that was a hard time. That was a hard time doing. So I enjoyed my run, but there were some other things that were getting a little too large. I had to move on to, and I'm still doing a little cross promotion and marketing with them.
We see that one. That's going to head over, unable to make the catch again. And the Vipers are going to tie the game, or did they get the out?
No, he made the play. He came. He was pretty slick with it. He came up with it and he made the toss. So.
Well, the Vipers are able to get the out. We'll have more action from you when we come back for commercial break. You're watching CBO-TV, the Vipers versus the Beach Bums. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The interview with CEO Mark Sigrinello will continue later on as he had to go take care of something real quick. You know, CEO things, if you will, when you're running this league. We're still underway here in the bottom of the second. The Bums still have the 1-0 lead. The Vipers were close, but that final out, they weren't able to bring the runner at third home. So now we see Jackson, the designated hitter, at bat. There's a wild pitch. 2-0 count. The 3-0 pitch. Strike. 3-1 count for Jackson. That one's going to be fouled off, and now it's a full count for Jackson. After facing a 3-0 count, a strike, and then a foul, ties, or at least fills the count at 3-2. So we're going to see a walk, we're going to see strikeout. Here's the pitch, takes a big shot towards right field. That's going to go to the ground, and Jackson's going to get himself the base hit. And now we see the shortstop, Yorez, now at bat. You don't understand, folks. Like, it feels weird not saying shortstop Ulysses Rodriguez because so used to seeing him as the shortstop. Now he's the pitcher. So it's weird to see a new one, at least for me personally. But back to the game here. The current shortstop, Yoras. That pitch goes for a ball. Runner on first, no outs on the board here in the bottom of the second. Here's the pitch, and another ball. And here's the pitch, and that's a strike. And here comes the pitch. Takes a shot, stays in bounds, caught by second, tossed over. Can they get the double play? And they do. Great play there by the Vipers to get the double play. How about that? Now we see the second baseman, Nolden, now at bat. Great job there by the Vipers defense to make the plays and make them quick. And just like that, 2 outs on the board for the Beach Bums and no runners on base. It's an 0-1 count to start things off for Nolden. And here's the pitch. This one stays in bounds, heads towards left field. And it's a foul ball. Or not. Waiting on official word. We're seeing Nolden walk back over to home plate. And indeed, it is a foul ball. So it's an 0-1 count. And welcome back, welcome back, Mario. I don't know if you're able to witness that double play there that just happened with the Vipers as we see that pitch go outside for a ball. Tie the count up 1-1.
The Vipers are kind of like watching a freshman play baseball. They get better every single week. When they first got out here, I don't want to say they were intimidated a little bit, but they had a bunch of young kids, and they're coming into a third-year league where there's some pretty good ball players coming in, and then they were 0-6, and then they beat the team that's 6-0, and you see some confidence start to come back on them. They lost on a walk-off grand slam last week, but then they came back and won the next game.
And we see swing and a miss, and that's going to put the bottom of the second to a close. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back for the start of the third. And welcome back, folks, here to the top of the third. The Beach Bums will hold a 1-0 lead over the Vipers. We're about to get the interview once again going with CEO Mario Sagranello. So let's talk a little more about the Charles Johnson Summer League, its progress, going into year 3, and what can we expect for the future?
What we've done this year is we've expanded 8 teams. So we went from 5 teams to 6 to 8 teams. And I couldn't be happier for that because that means more people are buying in. We've picked up 12 additional players since the league has started, and with all the rain we're having, that's been an impressive number to be able to pick up. And 4 of our 8 teams have current college coaches coaching in front of them. So a lot of kids come here because they want to get signed. We call ourselves the League of Opportunity. Where last year we had 34 players that were looking for colleges. We found a home for 25 of them.
Good night. We see Zaid Stark get the walk, and he's going to head over to first. That's only the second walk allowed by Ulysses Rodriguez today.
So 4 of our 8 teams have college coaches for them. Another one, the Tide, which is an interesting team, they have players from 6 different countries playing for them. The head coach is from Brazil. He spent 10 years in baseball development with the Tampa Bay Rays, Adriano da Silva. And their assistant coach was 22 years in professional baseball and is in the Puerto Rican Hall of Fame, Jesus Barrios. So we're getting the quality players and the quality coaches that are coming out here. And even tonight's game is a good example. You got an All-American shortstop who's a closer for Florida Memorial, and you got Roger, an established pitcher in college. It's thrown against the Bums, and the Bums haven't scored in the 2 games. So I think that's a classic example of some of the progress that we've made.
Absolutely. We see a shot here that gets fouled off. And another thing about progress that this league has made as well is the ballparks that we play as well. Even this ballpark here, this is the first year we're playing here in Ray Boyd Stadium. So talk more about that as well, in terms of the diversity of venues that Charles Johnson Summer League has.
Yeah. One of the things I thought was important was to establish a few different ballparks and play at places that have character. There's not a lot of places like in the Midwest where you have ballparks in Florida, but the ones we've chosen have character. Nice pickoff.
Zaid Stark gets the pickoff at first, and that puts the first out on the board for the Vipers.
Yeah. The ballpark we're at today was built with a lot of thought. It was redone. This is a 70-year-old school. They redid it 15 years ago, and they faced the ballpark in the right position now, so you don't have the sun field. Later on, you'll see when the lights come on. They have LED lights and LED scoreboard. We're out number 2. How many high school parks have stands that go from dugout to dugout with a press box? They've got a picnic area with palm trees behind here, and it just feels like a good ballpark atmosphere. We're back at Northeast High School, which we love, and then we added Pompano Municipal Park, baseball park, where the Texas Rangers used to have spring training for 25 years. The Rangers have been long gone since 1989, but the ballpark itself is the 2-field complex, faces the same way it did, and right where the Goodyear blimp is. And so to be playing our games and all of a sudden see the Goodyear blimp flying overwards gives that feeling of what spring training was like when the Rangers used to roll there. And then you move over to historic Floyd Hall Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. 70-year-old ballpark that was Little League Baseball's home of the 18 and under Big League World Series for 25 years. They've got a tremendous press box that they built. They had over 2,000 people attending games there. And one of the announcers from there, Paul Guerrero, is now doing our games on Friday night.
You see that ball stay in bounds, heads towards right field. Jackson had the ball in his mitt, but then dropped it. And Eric is going to get himself to first off the single.
So if you're going to one of our games there, the announcer, he'll play Monopoly when they come out for the pitchers. Glass will break when there's a foul ball. But one of my favorites is when the first time number 2 comes to the bat, you hear Bob Shepard doing the same announcement he did for number 2 during the All-Star game of Derek Jeter coming up to bat. And it gives you that old-time ballpark feeling when you're there.
And one of the most fascinating things about this league also is, especially when it comes to, the ballparks, is like you mentioned, the diversity. I mean, we're playing here in a renovated ballpark. Then you got the history that is Floyd Hall. Then obviously you got Southeast High School, which is obviously not only helping the league as well as we see a play here. He's going to make the run over to first. That's going to put the top of the third to a close as we head to the bottom of the third. We'll close things out real quick.
Yeah.
And
What I just want to add is just coming online today is the only turf ball field in college baseball, in summer college baseball, came online today. Came at Lauderhill Sports Park. It's a beautiful complex that was built during COVID, and nobody even knew it was there. We purchased a mound, we put up foul poles, and now, next time it rains, where nobody else will be playing in South Florida, we'll be playing on the turf field at Lauderhill Sports Park. So these are all some of the additions and things that we've added to this year, and I couldn't be happier in our growth and the level of play, the level of coaches. That's really what makes us look smart, because they've all bought into this. And as a classic example, the seventh place team beat the first place team 10-0 in the first game. That's the beauty of baseball. Anybody could win at any time.
Well, like you mentioned, anything, any given time, and you've been giving these players a lot of opportunities. Mario, you gave me the opportunity. I mean, if it wasn't for me broadcasting for you, I wouldn't have been at Florida Memorial and, broadcasting for HBCU Plus and becoming their assistant SID.
Yeah, great shout out to you and Antonio for volunteering last year. And both the young men that did our broadcast end up getting jobs at their universities. Antonio Ponte at Lynn and Armani over at Florida Memorial University. So we brought in as an experiment baseball broadcast during it. Now we've got experienced broadcasters doing three games a week, and actually getting paid a little bit this year. Thank you for the great job you're doing, and thank you for Anthony what they're doing, and it's all part of the growth of the league, and from the coaches to the players to the broadcasters and the people working behind the scenes. That's what making this a positive league. And our umpires. So last shout out is for them. Manny Salazar, Southeast Elite umpires. The two umpires due in the field today are umpires in the Professional Baseball League in Columbia. The gentleman in the field umpired in the World Baseball Classic. So everything that we're doing is putting out is quality people who are matching each other, and everyone's bought into the system. And I think that's what's made everything better.
And I think that's what makes this league unique as well, is that just the amount of quality that goes into it. We see that offering get fouled off, but just the quality that goes into the league with the amount of people that you bring, the experience, the youth as well, that just gives everyone an opportunity and gives that, that real pro feel.
All right. Let me bow out now, and good luck to the teams. Armani, keep up the great job. Thanks for being on board.
Thank you very much. Now with CEO Mario Sigonello here for the Charles Johnson Summer League. We're now in the bottom of the third. Ball's in play, heads towards right field. Caught. First out on the board for the Beach Bums. Now we see the extra hitter Cedric now at bat. One out on the board. Runner on first as we see Garcia try to pick off the catcher for the Beach Bums to no avail. And here's the pitch, way outside and downstairs for a ball. And here's the pitch. Ball's in play, goes past Garcia, well into the outfield. Cedric with the shot in the center. Puts 2 runners on the board for the Beach Bums. Now the left fielder Jackson is now at bat once again. Managed to score a run in his first appearance. His first offering is outside for a ball. Roger Garcia is going to have a conversation with this catcher. Quick conversation as we see the catcher head back to his position. One out on the board. 1-0 count. Runners on first and second for the Beach Bums. Jackson takes a big shot towards left. Jackson's going to take the walk back to the dugout. And now... And now we see Ulysses Rodriguez now at bat once again. Two outs on the board for the Beach Bums. We see this ball in play. Rodriguez makes the run. And the Beach Bums are going to put another run on the board. And Ulysses Rodriguez gets himself the double. The double RBI puts a run on the board for the Beach Bums. And now there's runners on second and third as well. So the Beach Bums are in position to continue to build this lead. First offering is a ball for Fox. Pitch, ball's in play, caught by first, make the toss back over. Cedric brings it in, and that's going to put the third inning to a close. We'll be back for the fourth. And welcome back, folks. Here in the top of the fourth, the Beach Bums added 2 runs to their score to make it a 3-0 lead against the Vipers. See the 1-1 count on Martin Gomez. Wild pitch. Another ball to the count. And here's the pitch. Takes a shot at it, but it's fouled off. When it bounces off the umpire and the catcher. And here's the pitch. And another ball to the count. It's a full count now for Martin Gomez. Halfway through this game, Rodriguez deals. Another foul. Ulysses wasting no time outside, and Martin Gomez is going to get the walk. And now we have Dylan Vega now at bat. Vega making his second appearance, able to get himself to third, unable to bring it home as the Bums were able to end the inning before he even had a chance. This one stays in bounds. A big shot towards left field, but Jackson makes the catch. That's a first out on the board for the Vipers. Now we have Ishmael, the shortstop, now at bat. First offering is a strike. Ulysses tries to pick off Martin Gomez, but Gomez is safe. And here's the pitch. Foul. Ooh, and the catcher's on the ground. Catcher's on the ground on his knees. You see all the Beach Bum, a couple of the Beach Bum players, including Coach Ray Garcia. Going over to his catcher. Hopefully he's okay, Took a couple hits there. Obviously, he took the pitch that bounced off his mask, and then he takes this one, taking a little bit of toll on the body. Take a little bit of time to, get his things together, get himself recovered. Hopefully he's okay. And he's going to stay in. Thank God he's okay. We're back into it. Here's the pitch. Takes a shot, stays in bounds from third. Make the toss over to first. That's another out on the board for the Vipers. Good defense there by the Beach Bums. Continuing to keep the Vipers scoreless. Now we see Aiden Cabrera, the designated hitter, now at bat. Gomez able to get himself to second as he takes a swing at it for a strike, swing and a miss. Another strike, an 0-2 count for Aiden. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's another strikeout for Ulysses Rodriguez. And that'll put the top of the fourth to a close. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back for the bottom of the fourth. And welcome back, folks, to the bottom of the fourth as the Beach Bums have a 3-0 lead over the Vipers. And speaking of the Beach Bums, joining me is a man who scored that third run for the Beach Bums. We see that shot go into foul territory. We're here with the extra hitter, Cedric. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing good. Enjoying me a beautiful day here to play some baseball. So talk a little bit about yourself, where you came from, and what got you started into baseball.
All right. Well, I started playing baseball around 4 years old, not knowing I was going to love it, I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, all the way down there in the South, man, But I played at Kentucky State University. I just finished my redshirt freshman year there. I played third base for them. And, yeah, it's going well right now, man. It's just the rain is kind of holding us back a little bit. We're back like 3 games right now because of the rain.
So talk to us more about, what got you started in baseball. Obviously, you came from Tennessee. And what would you say are the big differences between playing in Tennessee and playing down here in South Florida?
I say the big difference is the weather for sure. I like the competition down here as well. A lot of diversity here, including myself, just coming down here to play summer ball, having a lot of fun here. Everybody here is cool, not a lot of negativity, and I like positivity, and I'm having a lot of fun down here. Where I'm staying at, good area, get some good food, and yeah.
Absolutely. So What got you so? When did you start? I guess got exposed to baseball, and what got you so hooked onto the sport?
How I got exposed, I think my parents just threw me out there, especially at 4 years old. But I started to get into it around 12 years old. I started, hitting those little league bombs before I moved into the big field. So I ended up grasping, the love for baseball right then and there.
So when did you first come down here to South Florida, and when did you discover the Charles Johnson Summer League?
I got down here. Well, I mean, I visited South Florida a lot of times through my younger years. How I heard about Charles Johnson Summer League, previous coach that I've played with, he had put me on to another coach that knew about the league, and I was looking for somewhere to play, get more experience, and also have fun, I found out through Mr. Charles Sano. He contacted me and was like, "Hey, I know somebody down here. I can get you in contact with Mr. Mario." And so that happened there, and then I just took the risk, took the chance, and I'm having a blast.
So you mentioned that you're currently going to Kentucky State. You finished your redshirt year. So what is it like being on the baseball team for a program like Kentucky State?
It is, to me, it was just awesome, man. And it's a HBCU. It was very awesome. I liked it a lot. Just getting to know other players like me be on the field together.
Especially, and I know here for the Charles Johnson Summer League, obviously you got Florida Memorial, the only HBCU in South Florida, has a heavy presence here, obviously, with the Beach Bums, your team. Coach Garcia, one of the coaches for Florida Memorial. I mean, I go to Florida Memorial, so you got a lot of Florida Memorial, a lot of HBCU exposed here in the Charles Johnson Summer League. And that's one of the things about this league, its diversity allows, the inclusivity allows opportunities for everyone to get involved.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I really like it. I love Coach Garcia, man, and Coach Cheeky. They're doing a great job handling us young men out here. And we're just, they're young too, so they understand how the game of baseball could be, a lot of failure, a lot of negativity, only because, you're failing, you're struggling. But they like to make it, just positive. And I like that. I like being on positive, like, teams, vibes. And I just think that's really what it is, they keeping it positive.
So we see Andres get the strikeout, and that's only the second strikeout for Roger Garcia today. But I mean, while we have you here, let's go over that run that you managed to score off of the single. So talk us through that. Obviously, what you had to do at bat and that base running that you had to do to get the run in before, literally right after was the end of the inning.
Okay. My approach at bat, I went up there just, not trying to do too much. It was just one out, guy on first. I was just trying to move him over, keeping the approach middle away. So I was trying to stay up the middle.
We got a big shot here towards left center field. That's going to go into the ground. That's going to put runners on first and second for the Beach Bums.
Nice, D-Jax, nice. That's my teammate, guys. As you see right there, gets a base hit, moves War on the second.
Your team's doing real good right now. They're continuing to establish they've been controlling this game on both sides of the ball all day.
Yes, sir, we have. We had a doubleheader today, so I'm just glad our guys, just being able to come back and start, like, early in the second game, Keep the energy up, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And, doubleheaders are never easy to play. You have 7 or in some cases 9 inning game, and then you just have a couple minutes rest, and then you're right back at it.
Right.
So how is that energy like to play as we see a wild pitch that's going to advance the runners to second and third? But what is that like to play in a doubleheader when you don't really have that much time to rest, and then it's like, all right, we got to go back at it?
Well, for me, I love baseball, so to me, it's really nothing. Like, just playing baseball, that's just the best thing for me right now. That's my happy place, so I have no problem with it. Now, so for some other guys, they might be tired, but it's just like, it's fun, man. Like, especially when you're doing good, too. Like, obviously, when you're struggling, it's not fun. But to me, it's still fun. Because you still get to be out here. I'm blessed to be out here. God put this sport on earth, and that's just how I see it.
And so, we'll end this. So, one more thing before we sign off. So, what can we expect from you and the Beach Bums for the rest of the year? Obviously, you guys are the back-to-back defending champions. You're going for the three-peat. So, you guys think you have a good shot to make it back to the finals and then have a shot at it?
I think we have a great shot. Our guys, I just feel like our hitting is going to get us there. Our pitching is going to get us there. Like, just everything, the team as a whole, I just feel like all of our positive vibes and our team chemistry is there. We like to play music while we're playing, like hitting BP and stuff before the game, and we just
We see a
look at
big
that
shot here towards right field,
Good piece,
and that's going to
Fonzo.
go into the ground. And the Beach Bums, they're going to look to add another run on the board, and that's 4-0. They're going to look to make it 5-0, and they do.
Ooh. Hey, good piece, Fonzo.
5-0 lead for you guys. I think you're starting to make up for it in terms of the game one. Obviously, and that's one thing I guess we'll talk about this real quick. But in terms of a doubleheader, especially if you have an outcome that that doesn't go well, you can make it up in the next game, and that's what you guys are doing right now.
Right, yes, sir. That was the goal, to bounce back right here. Got my boy Colin right here. One of my homies I met down here. We're real close. Me and Tyler Zawacki, we all click, just getting to hang out with each other. The team, especially, just the chemistry, I'm telling you. As the ball has been hit the gate and messed the camera up. You know how to fix it.
Well, we're used to the ball hitting the camera at this point. Amount of times that's happened. Thankfully, none of them have been damaged, at least. But so back to what we were saying before. So you guys think you have a great shot at making it 3 in a row?
We have a great shot. I'm very confident in that. We have a great shot to make it 3-0. Yeah, just got to stay within ourselves. Not get too cocky, stay humble, and keep God first, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Cedric, thank you so much for coming on here for this interview. We'll let you head back to the dugout, and good luck out there. Hopefully we see some more runs out of you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. And that's Cedric, the extra hitter who scored the 3rd run for the Beach Bums. So there's 2 outs on the board for the Beach Bums, but they managed to score 2 runs in this inning already, and they've increased the gap to 5-0. Now remember, folks, back in the first game, the Beach Bums lost 10-0, so a team like the Vipers, they're the number 1 seed, the Beach Bums. They're the defending champions, and they lost to the only winless team in the league. So you got to think about that. When you're the number 1 team, as we see the strikeout, that's going to end the inning. We'll talk more about this when we head to the 5th. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here in the matchup of the Charles Johnson Summer League between the Vipers and the Beach Bums. And joining me here is a member of the Vipers, Ryan Vasquez, who played in Game 1. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. Can't complain. So, Ryan, talk us a little bit about yourself, where you came from and what got you started in the baseball.
Well, I was born in Hollywood, Florida, and always lived there. But I come from a Colombian Dominican family, so my mom has always been pushing big for baseball. I've always been playing baseball since I was maybe around 4 or 5 years old. Started at t-ball. Ever since then, man, it's just been my favorite sport.
So, what is your position in baseball?
I'm an outfielder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
How about that? So, what got you into the Charles Johnson Summer League?
So I heard from a friend that I could get some competitive cuts this summer because I was at home just lifting and just hitting in the cage and stuff. And the fact that it was a competitive baseball league kind of got me on. And ever since then, man, I've just been here. It's been history.
Absolutely, and I was talking with Mario Sigonello earlier, and mentioned the competitiveness. Obviously, you got college coaches, you got some professional pro coaches here as well. So, and obviously, you got the diversity field. So, I mentioned does it really feel like kind of a pro environment? With all these college coaches, all the ballparks that you play in.
Yeah, that hasn't been a problem at all, man, because as of right now, we're really just focusing on the aspect of the game, getting cuts and the reps. And for that, it's been great, man. We've really been enjoying that. So we have no complaints so far on our part.
So, you mentioned that you played in Game 1. So, talk a little bit about your performance in Game 1, because obviously we weren't able to be live for that first matchup where you managed to take down the Beach Bum. So, talk us a little bit about that and how that felt in terms of, because obviously, you guys didn't really come in as necessarily the favorites to take on, against the back-to-back defending champions. So, how did that feel in terms of a confidence booster to be able to take down the Beach Bums, who are the back-to-back champions, and hand them their first loss?
So yeah, we walked in here, and from the beginning, from BP, watching them take BP and stuff, we were already feeling confident from the beginning. We were talking amongst each other in the dugout, telling each other how it's going to be easy wipe. And behold, that's how it ended out. We kind of kicked their butts 10-0. It was kind of just a slugfest. Their pitchers probably weren't up to par as they are right now. They have a guy on the mound throwing a little harder. But we were able to 10-0 them. I had 2 lineouts to center field, and that's when the game ended in the bottom of the 5th. So pretty good game overall, in my opinion.
How about that? Like I mentioned, obviously, that must have brought a lot of confidence to the team. But let's talk a little bit, about what can we expect from you and from the Vipers for the rest of the season.
Well, for me, you're going to expect me to continue playing for the name on the front. And for the Vipers, I'm assuming we're going to keep playing for us too, man. I think this is definitely, like you said, a great confidence booster. And I think it reminded us how capable we are, for sure, because it's been a little tough before.
Well, thank you very much, Ryan Vasquez.
Thanks for having me, man. Have a good one.
That's Ryan Vasquez for the Vipers. Now, here back to the top of the 5th. We got a runner on second. Like I was mentioning earlier, before the 4th inning ended, and we talked about it there with Ryan Vasquez, and that is, the Vipers, they came in, winless. And then the Beach Bums, they've only won. They haven't lost any games before Game 1, so you would have thought of that as a mismatch pretty much, but then you got the Vipers coming out 10-0, ending it in the 5th to take it to just not only an undefeated team, but the back-to-back defending champs nonetheless. So obviously for the Beach Bums, that was a performance that you would like to forget, and that's a performance that you'd want to bounce back from. And for the Vipers, that's a momentum builder right there. Obviously they're down 5-0 right now, but you can't take away the fact that their first win came against the defending champions in the Beach Bums. So a massive confidence booster for the Vipers as we see a big shot that heads towards right center field. Caught. That puts an out on the board for the Vipers. But like I mentioned, and you got to think about it as well, as we see Coach Garcia head to the top of the mound. And we're seeing the response that we would expect from the back-to-back defending champs, in the sense that, you lost 10-0 against an opponent that really in all metrics, based off record and momentum, that you should have beat, and not only lost, but didn't even manage to score a run, and as well as allowing 10 runs and the game ending early. But but the Beach Bums are responding like you would see a back-to-back defending championship team responding in. And that's taking control of the game on both sides. They managed to score runs in 3 innings so far, 3 out of the 4 that they've competed in. And they've been near flawless on the defensive side. So we're going to get back out of here with Zayd Stark making his 3rd appearance. Zayd hasn't been able to get as far as second. Second has been the highest that Stark has been able to travel to. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do here if he can manage to get on the mounds. If he can find a little bit extra boost here to get himself to 3rd and potentially all the way around the diamond to put the first run on the board for the Vipers. And that's another strike on the count. And I've been very impressed with Ulysses Rodriguez as well on the mound. Like I said, normally a shortstop, an All-American shortstop for the Florida Memorial Lions on the baseball side and the collegiate side. And here he is, because the Bums, they didn't have any arms. That's what Coach Garcia told me before the game started, is they needed arms. Obviously, they got Kelvin Feliciano, but he's only available on Friday. So they need to call some players up, and they called Ulysses Rodriguez up, and he's been responding in kind. Multiple strikeouts already. And that's another strikeout for Ulysses Rodriguez. And that's the first strikeout on Zayd Stark and the second out on the board for the Vipers. Six strikeouts for Ulysses Rodriguez. Let's see if AJ Barrios, a center fielder, can have any luck. Now, both of AJ's outs in the first and the third, they both resulted in flyouts. One caught by the right fielder and one caught by the left fielder. So he definitely has power in his swings, able to get it in the air. The problem is he's taking big swings at it, and there's another big swing at it. That's going to be fouled off. Problem is the ball just doesn't, when he takes that swing, it's not hard enough to where it's able to get all the way past the gate. Past the field to make it a home run. So you got to think, is he going to continue to try these big swing approaches? Obviously, he tried it there with that foul. Or is he going to try to go for the ground and potentially get himself a simple single to try to get himself on base? Or is he going to continue to swing big at it? There's 2 outs on the board, so not a lot of playing room for the Vipers here in this inning. So 1-1 count, 2 outs on the board. And here's the pitch. He takes a big shot at it. Let's see what the Vipers can do. The Vipers have their first runs on the board. How about that? Well, we talked about it. And just like that. And he got the pickoff. Got the pickoff on AJ Barrios, and that's going to put the top of the fifth to a close, but not before the Vipers manage to put their first run on the board. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back for the bottom of the 5th. It's a 5-1 score now as the Vipers able to put their first run on the board. You're watching CBO-TV, the Charles Johnson Summer League, between the Vipers and the Beach Bums. And 5 is going to get hit by that pitch. That's Boras, and he's going to take the walk over to first. The Bums have been able to at least have a runner on base in every inning in this game. But the Vipers are finally able to put a run on the board, so you got to think that's going to be a little bit of a momentum booster. Remember, the team beat the Beach Bums in the first game of this doubleheader 10-0, so they know how to take advantage of it. But the Beach Bums have been responding very well. As we see Daniel there get the base knock. Boras going to take the walk back to the dugout. And now we see, oh, there's Cedric again. Obviously, we had the interview with Cedric earlier today, and he talked about how he thinks that the team has a great shot at defending their championship and making themselves 3 in a row. And he thinks they have a great shot at winning this game, too. Obviously, they have a 4-run gap. Obviously, they would like the 3-run gap, but we see 11. Let's see if they cut him off. No, they don't. Unable to pick off Daniel. Daniel is safe, gets a stolen base. Great communication there by Cedric and Daniel. And Daniel didn't really stop as well. He just took off. Looked like there was a little bit of delay from the throw between first to second. That's what allowed Daniel to get himself to second. Looked pretty easily, as a matter of fact. Daniel didn't look like he had any issues. We see the Beach Bums dugout having a little shouting match. And there's a strike. Remember, last time Cedric was at bat, he managed to score a run off a single, so here's the pitch. Another strike. So there is a new starting pitcher for the Vipers as we see the wild pitch. That's going to advance the runner over to third. So Daniel gets himself in the scoring position for the Beach Bums. I mentioned it before, the Beach Bums have been able to score in 3 out of the previous 4 innings. Now they have a runner on third, looking to make it 4 out of 5. And here's the pitch. Cedric takes a shot at it. He's going to make the run over to first. Can they make it in time? He's safe. The catcher does not look like he agreed with that one. Daniel is safe, ruled by the umpire, and brings it home for the 6th run for the Beach Bums. Cedric with the RBI brings in Daniel. And another single for Cedric as we see Jai Jackson once again at bat for his 3rd appearance. Managed to score the 1st run for the Beach Bums. His count is now 1-1. And here's the pitch. Jai fouls that one off. It's now a 1-2 count. Even I thought that was going to be an out for Daniel. I mean, it looked like the catcher managed to tag him out in time right beforehand. Obviously, when you're dealing with those small margins, usually it's best to play it safe. And usually when it comes to playing it safe, as that's the first strikeout for Jackson and the first strikeout for the relief pitcher. Usually the safe option is allowing the play to happen because then trying to overturn it. That involves a whole another hassle as we see Rodriguez at bat once again. Rodriguez takes a shot towards left field. And he gets the base knock. Puts runners on first and second now for the Beach Bums. 2 outs on the board. Now we see Fox at bat once again. And here's the pitch. Ball. Fox stays patient, gets 2-0 on his count. And here's the pitch. Strike. It's a 2-1 count. And here's the pitch. Ooh, 21 gets hit by that pitch, and he takes a walk over to first. And that loads the bases for the Beach Bums. First time today, actually, that we've had bases loaded. So this is an interesting scenario here. As we see the coach have a conversation up on the mound. This is a really interesting scenario here. Because related to the game, you're already up 5 runs. You'd want to pad that even more. You got a loaded base, but there's still 2 outs on the board. So it's really anyone's game here in terms of how this inning is going to play out. I could very easily see the Beach Bums adding some more runs onto their score. But if we get just a fly out, and if the outfield is able to do their job, then that ends the inning there, and that allows the Vipers to try to close back on that 5-run gap. So it's going to be really interesting to see which team is going to come out here. Are we going to see an offensive showcase? Are we going to see great base running? Or are we going to see a great shot here? I guess it's all in the hands of Ward, the first baseman. See what he could do. If he could get the RBI, maybe even multiple RBI, that can pad the lead for the Bums, or are we going to see the defense of the Vipers continue to do their job? Start things off with a 1-0 count. And here's the pitch. And another ball, 2-0. There's always a scenario where they could just start walking runs in too, and that's the last thing you want to see for the Vipers. Not even give the defense a chance. And here's the pitch. A 3-0 count. Well, I talked about it where it's the last thing you want to see is to walk a run in. Right now, the Vipers are in danger of doing just that. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Well, we talked about it. That's the last thing you want to see. And here comes Cedric, who brings in his second run of the day and walks in the 7th run for the Beach Bums. It's now a 7-1 gap. And the bases are still loaded. Now we see the third baseman, Andres, now at bat. 5 straight balls thrown by number 38. You have to find a way to clean those up. Get these balls back in the strike box, or at least even if it's a hit, even if it gets hit, at least put it in the hands of your defense at that point. That's another ball, 6 straight balls. But find a way to at least put it in the hands of your defense. Remember, there's only 1 out left on the board, 2 outs already. So the Vipers are not that far away from ending this inning, which you got to think that they want to get out of this inning fast. And it's another 3-0 count. Danger walking the second run in. And it would make it an 8-1 score in favor of the Beach Bums. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And there we go. That breaks 7 balls in a row. It's finally broken up by a strike. One strike away from filling the count. And that's another ball, and that's another run walked in for the Beach Bums. This time it's Ulysses Rodriguez who brings in the run. His first run of the day. See Coach have a conversation with his players, and looks like he's going to pull 38. And indeed he is. I mean, yeah, it sucks, obviously, when you get pulled, but it's never something that you want to see as a player. But, I mean, when you allow 3 runs in 1 inning, and on top of that, 2 of those runs are off walks, and when you throw seven straight balls to 1 strike, I mean, Coach felt that he's seen enough, and you got to make that change there because you're already down. And it's not an ideal situation for the relief pitcher now, or at least the second relief pitcher will try to get a name on the relief pitcher, but it's not an ideal situation either. Once again, it's loaded bases, but there is 2 outs on the board, so at this point, you're just asking the pitcher to just get us out of this inning. Get us out of it quick. So we're waiting on warm-ups from this new relief pitcher. Already the third relief pitcher used, this third pitcher used by the Vipers in this game. Vipers are trying to come back from a 7-run deficit. Not a lot of time left also. They don't really have a lot of opportunities left. They really only have 2 shots left, the top of the 6th and the top of the 7th. If they aren't able to at least tie it up by the top of the 7th, then it's over. It's a tall order for the Vipers. Remember, this team managed to take down the Beach Bums in Game 1 for their first win of the season. Pretty dominating fashion, 10-0. But remember, this team also had a win in the bag last week against the Bites, but a walk-off grand slam ended those, dashed those hopes, and the Bites were able to steal the win in the bottom of the 7th. So the Vipers have seen it all. They've had wins taken away from them. They've lost in heartbreaking fashion. Obviously, those last 2 talking about the game against the Bites. They've won in dominating fashion after being the underdog. So we've seen a lot of different. We've seen the Vipers face a lot of adversity, and let's see what they're able to do here. Obviously, this third pitcher now coming in. He's facing off against Jackson, and Jackson hasn't been able to get it. Jackson did manage to score a run in his previous appearance, so not an easy at-bat to face. But like I said, if he can at least put the ball in the hands of the defense, then that should be more than enough with 2 outs on the board. Again, 2 outs on the board. The bases are loaded. Another interesting thing here is that only 3, including Jackson here, only 3 at-bats away from going to be starting to see some batters for the second time in this inning. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they're... And you got to assume if we're going to be seeing them again, then that's just going to continue to add more runs on the board for the Beach Bums. Blue Rule calls time. There's a pitch, and that's a strike. There's a ball to the count. And here's the pitch. 22 gets hit by that pitch, and that walks another run in for the Bums. It's a 9-1 score. Now we're seeing Yorez, the shortstop, now at bat. And here's the pitch. Strike. And here's the pitch. Way outside. Everyone on base stays put. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. It's a 1-2 count. 2 outs on the board. Loaded bases. Strike 3. And a disastrous inning for the Vipers is finally over. That's the first strikeout for that relief pitcher. And that's going to take us to the top of the 6th. We'll take a quick break. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here in the top of the 6th, where the Beach Bums now have a 9-1 lead over the Vipers. And speaking of the Vipers, joining me is the owner of the Vipers. How you doing?
Doing great.
So, talk a little more about yourself and what got you into baseball.
All right, well, my name is Andre Ruche. I've been playing baseball since I was about 4. Became a Marlins fan about 2006 and just been absolutely passionate about the sport.
You see a big shot here that heads towards right field. They're able to make the catch, and that puts the first out on the board for the Vipers.
But yeah, I've been a huge fan of baseball since I was pretty much born. And, you know, I just took a liking for having my own teams and just player development and making sure, you know, these guys get placed where they should be placed.
If you played any baseball at all, in the past?
Yeah, I played college baseball. I went to Weber University and I finished up at Central Baptist College in Arkansas. Played my full 4 years and took a little hiatus for about 2 years, and then I started the Vipers in 2020, in the summer of 2020.
Oh, so you play for Weber, so a fellow Sun Conference team, because obviously I go to Florida Memorial, so we got a lot of Florida Memorial players here. So a lot of Sun Conference going on here in the Charles Johnson Summer League. But speaking of the Charles Johnson Summer League, so what got you involved with the Charles Johnson Summer League, and what got you, first involved with Mario Cirinello?
So I've known Mario for a while. He had connections with my dad. My dad's the president of Time Miami Park. And we kind of struck it off there when I was younger. And then, coincidentally, just going into our third summer, I kind of wanted to get an extension on the guys that were kind of graduating from that high school travel scene. And Charles Johnson Collegiate League provided that for us. So when I started finding out information about it, Mario was the one that ran it. And I was like, all right, this is perfect. We have a prior, history and relationship, and kind of just hit it off from there, got the information, and got our guys plugged in.
And how does it feel to be the owner of the Summer League, especially because, like we see a play here, make the toss over. All right, so going back to it, so, you got a lot of kids here, they're trying to make a name for themselves in the baseball world. Some of them, they're trying to get into a college, or maybe they're already in a college and they're just trying to get themselves more reps, get more exposure. So how does it feel knowing that you are, in a way, a part of these kids' journeys to, trying to get themselves to the next level?
I mean, it feels great. It could be a little exhausting at times, especially with, how many kids we have now. We've never been this big, so this summer's been a huge leap forward in terms of the organization's growth. It's not the easiest thing in the world. You do have to keep the right people around you, people that, you could feed and they feed you back type of thing, and kind of make sure you have the right coaches in place for that. But it's always a great feeling when you get a kid placed in a school and you could, continue his dreams to, whether it's to be a professional baseball player or just, get his diploma and whatever he wants to study. It's always special, and that should be the end goal is, making them men and being able to set them up for success in their future.
And finally, what are your expectations for the Vipers for the rest of the year?
Well, we better turn it around. We're like 3-7 right now. We got to keep these games that get out of hand under control. We're very young. Majority are 23s. I think we have like 2 22s. So this team's extremely young compared to these, other teams that have been here for a while already. But that's not an excuse. It's just, there's a learning curve. And they've showed flashes of greatness. I mean, we ruled the Beach Bums that are 2-time champions. So that's a good thing. That's a sign of encouragement. It's just a matter of making sure they become cohesive and gel together and they adopt the culture of what we're trying to establish. So,
Well, Andre, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck for the rest of the season.
thank you.
You see swing and a miss, and that's going to be a strikeout. That's another strikeout on the count for Ulysses. And actually, it's not. That's interesting. Should have been at least a 2-2 or a full count. Blue rules it a strike 2. Well, going back at it, and this ball's in play, stays in bounds. Toss over to first. He's safe. See a shot here, stays in bounds, heads towards left field. And it's gone! And that's exactly what the Vipers were looking for. A grand slam for the Vipers. Closes the gap to 5-9. The Vipers were the recipients of a grand slam in their loss against the Bites last week, and this week they pull off the grand slam to make it a 4-run game. You see Aiden Carpeta now at bat. It's a 1-1 count. And just like that, the Vipers are still in this game. Outside for a ball. Let's take a look at some of the comments here in the chat. CCO Cowboys 9U says, "Let's go, love the blue skies, bums for the three-peat." Well, they're currently on track to do so. Joe Steele says, "Sorry, bums aren't in first." And yes, we are. There's a mistake there on the stats, so we're trying to get the official standings so we can see who exactly is the number 1 seed and where everyone stands. So once we get the official standings, we'll get that out to you, but apologize on the stats in terms of the standings. Finally, we got Hamba Kaleda. Shout out to Hobbs out there. Let's go, Ulysses Rodriguez, Assistant Athletic Director Communications and Sports Information Director of Florida Memorial. What a name. Beach Bums, loaded bases, or bases loaded. Whichever one you prefer, Hobbs. That's another ball to the count. And here's the pitch. Another ball. And here's the pitch. Fouled off. That's another strike for the count. And here's the pitch. Takes a shot at it, stays in bounds. It's safe. And Tanner's going to make the run over to second. Is he safe? He is. Gets the double. See Coach Garcia. Heading on top of the mound. He's going to pull the pitcher. Going to bring a new one in. Looks like it's going to be Corez, the relief pitcher. So after Ulysses Rodriguez and Zawacki, it's now Corez coming in as the third pitcher for the Beach Bums. 2 outs on the board. There's 2 outs on the board, but unlike when it was in the bottom of the 5th when it was the Vipers who were in this scenario, the Beach Bums don't have loaded bases. They only have a runner on second, so they got a little more wiggle room to play with here. As we see the warm-ups begin. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back when the warm-ups conclude and we get back to the top of the 6th. Warm-ups have concluded. We're ready to continue the top of the 6th. So we see Roger Garcia now, who's the starting pitcher now at bat. Starting pitcher for the Vipers. I believe this is his first appearance at bat, and his first offering is a ball. And here's the pitch. 2-0 count. Two outs on the board, a runner on second, and a 2-0 count here for Roger Garcia. Corez deals. 3-0 count. And the last thing you want to do is start walking runs in. We saw how detrimental that was for the Vipers back in the bottom of the fifth. That's a strike, outside for a strike. 3-1 count. Coors deals, and that's a ball. And Garcia gets himself on first. We head back to the top of the lineup now, and we have Zaid Stark making his next appearance now. Zaid hasn't been able to get farther than second, and his last appearance was a strikeout, albeit with a different pitcher, so it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. He takes a big shot, but it's caught, and that's going to put the top of the sixth to a close. After the walk-off grand slam, the Vipers close the gap to 5-9. They'll have one more shot at it to take it to extra innings or to steal the win. But let's see what the Beach Bums can do if they can open the gap once again. We'll be back for the bottom of the sixth. And welcome back, folks, here to the bottom of the sixth, where after a grand slam, the Vipers have closed the gap to 5-9. We're ready to begin the bottom of the sixth. Now, the Beach Bums, keep in mind, have scored in all but one inning. That was the second. They're going to continue to keep that streak alive to try to open the gap. And it's Trevor Hancock who is the relief pitcher for the Vipers. His first offering is a ball. Let's take a look at the comments section here. We got Antonio Ponte saying, good game so far. Sound great, Armani. Thank you, Antonio. And we got CCO Cowboys 9-1 once again, providing us with a little bit of an update on the standings. So the Panthers are first with a 10-4 record, and the Beach Bums are second in the standings with a 7-3 record. The standings go off a win percentage, so the Panthers with their .714 win percentage ahead of the Bums 700 win percentage. So shout out to CCO Cowboys 9U helping us out with the standings. So the Bums, they're not the number one seed, but they're not that far behind either. They're going to look to inch even closer to that number 1 seed, or perhaps even take it with a win here against the Vipers. Here's the pitch. Strike. This is Nolden at bat. And here's the pitch. Another ball for the count. It's a full count, 3-2. And here's the pitch. And Nolden goes to first on the walk. And we saw how detrimental the walks were for the Vipers and how advantaged they were in the previous inning. I mean, we talked about it where 3 of the runs that the Beach Bones managed to score in the 5th were off of walks. And it looks like the same song and dance here for the Vipers to start things off, with the first at bat being a walk. You have to try to find a way to clean that up as we see Boris now at bat. Evades that pitch, gets the ball on the count. And here's the pitch, downstairs for another ball. Swing and a miss, and that's a strike. Ball's in play, caught by third, toss it to second, toss it to first. Double play for the Bums. For the Vipers, excuse me. Now we see Daniel now at bat. He gets hit by that pitch. He takes the walk. 1 inning of baseball left, assuming we don't go to extra innings. Vipers have a 4-run deficit to make up. Can they do it? It's all going to start here with A.J. Berrios. Berrios has only managed to get as far as first in his trip to second in his previous appearance. He got picked off, and his previous 2 appearances was a flyout. Down on the count early, it's 0-1. 3 outs to go for the Beach Bums to win this game. And here's the pitch. Ball. No changes on the mound. Still Corez. And here's the pitch. Takes a shot towards left field. Foul. It's a 1-2 count. Vipers managed to shut the Beach Bums out. For the first time since the second. And here's the pitch. Another fly out towards left field. Tajah Jackson with the catch. 2 outs to go. That's what we're talking about, especially with the pitchers. You know, if you feel like that the pitches aren't going so well, just try to put it in the hands of the defense. Great job there by Jackson to make that catch. Now we see Eric Machado, the second baseman, once again at bat. It's another batter who hasn't been able to get as far as first, or farther than first, excuse me. Got to first twice, in the first and the third, as that pitch goes way outside for a ball. So 1-0 count. 2 outs away are the Beach Bums from securing the win. And here's the pitch. Strike. It's a 1-1 count. Right in there. Caught by second. Makes the toss over to first. 1 out to go. One out to go for the Beach Bums. First offering is a ball. And here's the pitch. Inside for a strike. 2-1 count. And here's the pitch. Outside, strike 2. 2-2 count. The Bums are 1 out away from securing the win. And here's the pitch. Strike 3, and the Beach Bums grab the win. The Vipers put up a fight with that grand slam in the 6th, with the Beach Bums able to hold on and take the 9-5 victory. Though shout out to the Vipers that they've actually outscored the Beach Bums throughout this doubleheader. 15 runs to the Beach Bums 9 after they shut out the number 2 seed coming into this game. Obviously in game 1, but that's going to do it for this game as the Beach Bums managed to take down the Vipers by a score of 9-5. And that's going to do it for us here on CBO-TV. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. We'll be back on Friday for our usual 4 to 7 matchups. And have a great one, folks.